Hello everybody, it's Dragana from Saacibo. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I want to share with you how I make my stamps. It's a printmaking technique and it can give you really beautiful results. I'll just show you some of mine, the ones that I've done recently. I love this little rose. I found this sketch I had, I don't know, from my student days I think, and I decided to turn it into a lino cut or my own stamp, and I've used it in my gel prints and I absolutely love it. I love the simplicity of it and how it turned out. It looks really arty. I don't know, I just love it. Okay, and then I've done this one only the other day. It's a little bit bigger and it also started as a drawing. I'll just show you my, I don't even know why or what possessed me to draw on this, but I did, and then I transferred the design onto tracing paper and then created this lino cut or handmade stamp. And I stamped here, look, looks like a really nice border for the page, and then I used it on my gel print, and where the prints didn't work out so well I used markers on top. I just traced over my own design and I absolutely love it. I thought, what kind of stamp to do, and it's going to be Valentine's in a couple of days, and I thought let's just do one about love. I quickly sketched this on this instruction booklet just so I don't forget. So I'm going to trace my design onto tracing paper, and one of the reasons why I'm going to do that is once it's on a tracing paper you can flip it any side and you'll be able to see your design. With a lino cut, especially if you have words, you will have to carve your design the other way around so that the print comes right. There is a way to cheat this in a way. If you have a jelly plate, you know, you would stamp on your jelly plate and then you'll pick up design with the paper and then it will be all right. But usually you don't want to rely on that. You just want to do the carving properly. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to trace my own design and don't get too caught up in details, because with lino cuts you can't really be that detailed. Sometimes you will have to be ready to change the design, especially if you make a mistake, cut something that you're not supposed to. You just have to be able to adapt. Okay, and I think that's why it's kind of really cool. I really love lino cuts, and I've seen some people do miracles and make masterpieces. Nowhere that good, but I love making some simple designs that I can use in my junk journals. And of course, if you try this and have lots of fun, yeah, you can do whole drawings and create masterpieces using this simple technique. Okay, so yeah, you always start with a sketch. I mean, you could try carving it out straight away, but you know, that would be very difficult, I'd say. But I'm not saying that you can't. I can't. I have to have a sketch first. Okay. So I'm going to have this whimsical heart. Okay, so that is my design. So I want to make a stamp like that. Okay. Now once I have it on a tracing paper, I can turn it this way and I can transfer that onto lino. And this is how it comes here. If you go to any shop that sells school supplies, it comes like that. Sometimes it's in green color. That one. Haven't tried using the green one. I don't know if it's perhaps a little bit too hard. I don't know. But I like using this one. I want to show you the ones that I've used in the past. They have this kind of like a fabric on the back. They're quite thick and they're gray. Okay. This one is a little bit softer. And there are some really soft ones, but I wasn't able to get any here in the shop, so I don't have any to show you. Okay, this piece is too small, so I'll have to cut myself a bigger piece. And I find it easier if I actually cut the lino to smaller size. It's much easier when you twist it around. You don't want to work with the whole block, so you can just use your scissors, I suppose, or guillotine or whatever, and I'll just go with the scissors. Oops, tough. Okay, so yeah, just cutting it down to a smaller, more manageable size. And like I said, we have to do this design kind of reversed if we want to get the proper print. I'll just do this. Okay, that's how it's going to be, and I'm just going to clip it just so that doesn't move. And I'm going to use carbon paper. Don't know if you remember this. I do. Used to put them in the typewriters to have copies. Now we have fax machines and copy machines, but this is how we used to do it when you wanted to have something in few copies. And I find that it works fine. So again, I have to trace my design. This time I'm just using pencil. Yeah, something with a pointy. And I'm going to check if it's, yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm just going to trace again my own design with lino cuts. I like my designs to be a little bit whimsical. I don't like to get really into realistic, trying to make it perfect and all, and then just not fun. And it's a medium that it's much easier if you do this more in a free fashion kind of thing. With drawings you can get really realistic with watercolors too, even with oil paintings, but with this you'll see what I mean. It's not that easy to get really drawn into detailed stuff. Okay, so that is my design on this. To cover our design you'll need knives, lino cut knives, not wood cut but lino cut. And I have this one that I bought recently. I had other ones, but they were really not sharp and I stopped using them. So they usually come with 5 or 6 different ones. You can get the professional ones, but you know, these are just student grade, nothing fancy, and they're not that expensive. Okay, and there's that one, and each will give you a different width and depth of the cut, and I'll just show you quickly. So you'll have to experiment a little bit to see, sorry, I need to go first, to see which one works best for you. You know, I'll just show you here quickly. So you have that one. This one goes a little bit deeper, narrower. Again, different. And we have this one. there's the straight one that you can use to cut. I don't really use this one, and honestly I don't really use all of these. I only use one actually, which is the first one I've shown you, and because it's just, for some reason, I'm able to do everything with just that one. Yeah, but I'll go up close so that you can see what they look like. Okay. I suppose that's kind of like a personal preference, but yeah. Another thing is, if your lino is a bit tough and hard to cut, I'd suggest put it on your heater. Sometimes if you warm it up a little bit, it's much easier to cut. You can also do it with linseed oil, the artist linseed oil. You can put some oil, rub maybe a day before to soften it up. But I find that heating it up a little bit, it just works all right for me. Okay, and then you need to trace again this. I mean, you don't have to, but it's just going to be so much easier because this carbon paper is so easy to erase with your hands as you work, and your lines are not going to be this fine, they're going to be thick. You see what I mean? And I think tracing it with a Sharpie is just easier to see. Okay, so I'll just quickly do that again, and then we can start carving. I'll cut this bit off as well. Okay, now I just want to mention something else. There is two ways of doing this. You can either carve out everything that's black here, or you can carve everything that is not black. Okay, and you know, it will give you different print. For example, in this one here, I hope you can see, I carved out a round and then this line, so I didn't carve, you know, everything that is white here. I only carved the outline, but I left this bit dark, and that way when I print this leaf, it comes dark. While here I carved out the inside of the leaf as well, and then it comes as a white bit, or not white, it just doesn't print. So actually it's easier to show here. Okay, I could have left this uncarved and then that would be dark like here. So it's up to you how you want your final design to look, whatever is easier. Like with these leaves, I could carve around, of course I have to, but then I can leave this black. I don't have to carve it. So you can also prepare that by just coloring in, just so you don't forget. Okay, so if you want to have your leaves like this, you just color them in, and then you know you're not supposed to carve that out. Okay, something like that. And then if I decide in the end I want these lines to show, I will just do a little cut there and it will give me these lines. Okay, now with these ones it's going to be a bit difficult because they're swirls, but I don't have to. I can also make them like this. Okay, turn them into little round shapes, and it's going to be much easier for me to carve, and then later on I can add fine detail. Okay, that. Okay, so I will be carving out everything that is not black now. Okay, and you have to be really careful not to cut yourself. If you push too hard and you keep pushing and pushing and somehow it jumps, it's going to, especially if your fingers are here, it's going to cut you. And I've cut myself so many times. And I've ordered online of eBay a guard, but it still hasn't arrived, and I really want to do the video, but there is a thing that helps you hold this and protect your fingers. And if you don't have it, just make sure when you're pushing, you don't have your other hand here. You don't do this because these knives are really sharp. Okay. And I'm not going to lie to you, this may look much easier on the screen than it is in real life. And I find as I'm getting older, my hands get really tired, and it takes me a while. I would probably need an hour or two to carve this whole thing out, but I'll start by carving just to show you, and I might have to complete it off the camera, but there you go. And you don't want to go too deep, too fast, because if you push too hard, it will skip. Like, this is what I mean. If you push too hard, and then it skips, and it becomes really, you can damage your design, You can cut where you don't want to cut. Okay, so you just do this. See, sometimes it goes easy and then it doesn't. But this is like slow stitch, You put some music on, something that relaxes you, and you just start carving slowly. And put these away. You twist and turn your design, whatever is easier for you to do. And I think the best way to learn something is to actually try doing it. when we carving, we will be carving what's within the heart, because that's our stem, but we have to carve around here. But you don't have to go all the way around unless you want to leave a border. I don't. I will be just cutting this out like I did here later on, so I'll just carve a little bit around, and then the rest I'll just cut off later on. I just wanted to mention that. And this, it takes practice to control this. it's not going that fast, so it will take me a lot of time, but I've done quite a bit here, and I just want to show you with the leaves. I did paint them black, but now I want to add some definition. I'll probably carve the rest the same way as I did here, but I want to do this. I just want to imagine there's a line here, just like that, because I think that would add a little bit of dimension to the leaves. Just okay, just a little line. Like that. What I love about these lino cuts is they look kind of, the print later on looks crude, I'd say. I don't know how else to say it. It doesn't look as smooth as the drawing, but that's the beauty of it. That's what I love about it. Okay, so I will continue working on this one, because filming the whole process is gonna take forever, and I will show you then what it looks like, and then we'll try and take a print. I think I've carved as much as I could. I ended up carving out the leaves completely to have them like in this drawing, and just as I was finishing off, I made a mistake here. I just skipped the knife and I chopped off a little bit of the well, it happens. You just have to live with it. This is something that is not like supposed to be perfect. Okay, so now what I do, I just cut out carefully this excess, because I really don't want to spend another half an hour carving that out. It's not necessary. I don't need it, and this is going to give me a better print. So I just cut this carefully, and I go as close as I can without damaging the print. Okay, so just like that. You can use a knife or scissors. I find it easier for me with scissors, and yeah, you just have to experiment and see what works for you. Okay, then I go a little bit in areas I can, and then we'll do the test print first, and it will show us if we need to carve more in some areas, you know. I rarely get it right at the first time. Okay. And traditionally with printmaking, you would get the ink that's meant for this and the brayer, and you would apply the ink this way and then put the paper and take it through the press. But I don't use it that way. I don't have that sort of ink. I don't have the big press. I just use my scissors for this, and I'll show you how. You can also use them with your jelly plate, but I like to use them like this as well. I just take the ink pad and I just dab the ink over. Okay. Oops. Okay. Just trying to cover everything with this black ink. Okay, and we'll do the test gun. Take my scissors. I'm I'm gonna take out this adapter. I don't need it. Just use 2 plates under this one. Okay. So I put the paper first, and then I put this. I just drop it. You don't want to move it. It will smudge. Oh, yeah, I don't need another paper. Okay, and then I put this over. I think I need to add, like, if I put this, it's too much. It's going to almost emboss my paper. But maybe this would help. Just a piece of cardstock. Okay, let's see if... Yeah, it's still not enough. I'll put another one. Put 2 pieces of cardstock. Now I can, yeah, I feel the resistance, so that should be all right then. I find that this gives me the best print when I do it with my scissors. Okay, let's take that off. Take this off. Nice, but it moved a little bit, and you see these little lines, these like scratches, they basically tell me that I need to carve these areas a little bit more. Okay, so I need to carve these. So you take your print and you take this, your knife, and then you just go and fix it. Okay, I cleaned as much as I could, and you know, you can always do more, but then you know, you also run the risk of destroying the print. Okay, so now I'm just going to do another test print. Just want to cover it really well, because it will give me a clearer print. This one's a bit pale. All right, and then we put the paper, and then we take our line cut, and I just drop it. You don't want to move it. You'll end up with a blurry print. And take that. Where's that other piece of cardboard? I'll just cut that off. Let's put it again. So here. Slowly. Carefully side. Let's see if the second one is any better than the first one. It is. It's much clearer, isn't it? Okay, we've got rid of all these extra marks, but now I take this one and then fix it a little bit more. Just look at the areas where I can see that that is here, so I can just go in and fix that a little bit, clean it up. So you just keep repeating this step as many times as you need to, basically, until you get the print that you're happy with. Probably seems like a lot of work, but you know, it's totally worth it. I think because you'll end up with a really unique stamps. I've cleaned it up a little bit more, and I want to take the third print, and you know, even if something is not right by then, you can always go back and fix it, or you can just accept it. It's that kind of I don't know how to say, art, I suppose. Okay, prepare the paper. Only this time I'd love to use colored ink. So I have some colors here. Make sure this is clean. I just want to try with colors. So I'm taking this seedless preserve. I've got here some aged mahogany. So I'm going to where the word love is, I maybe use fire bricks. This is just having fun. Just want to see what it's gonna look like in different colors. Okay, and then we do the same. We take our print, we just drop it. This. And you run it through the big shot. Nice. So yeah, it cleaned up really well. I think I had a piece of something stuck there, but only a few bits and pieces that I won't even bother with. I might as well leave them. So I really like how that looks. There we go. And after the third attempt, it's, I think, good enough to be used. I hope you find this information useful. I suggest if you're gonna do this, start with the simple designs, something that's not gonna take you like hours to carve out. Start with, say, really something simple that you can handle, and get a feel for different knives. Try all of them and see which one gives you finer lines, which one gives you thicker lines, and yeah, just experiment and then start working your designs out. Just remember, if you have writing, you always have to do it like in a mirror image. And thank you so much for watching. I hope I see you soon in my next video. I have prepared something really special. Bye for now.